This is the video review of the Power Rangers Super Megaforce Red Lion Zord set. Now, unlike, say, the Delta Runner Zord set here, which was just reference to Power Rangers SPD, this is a reference to Power Rangers Wild Force and Power Rangers Samurai. And this is manifested by the overall Zord looking like the Red Lion Zord from Wild Force, which was the central unit of the Wild Force Megazord. But it also has the markings of the different origami from the Power Rangers Samurai line. And then also, well, from the front, it's very big and beefy and looks very threatening. From the back, it's a little bit paper thin, which references the paper folding aspect of Power Rangers Samurai. So that makes the set a little bit more interesting because it has a bit more thought into its design. It's not just a copy of something from a previous line, slightly modified for whatever reason. This one is a copy of one thing that's melded with elements of another thing, which is kind of interesting. Now, the line itself is, it can't do much in this mode. It can just move the back legs, and the back legs will come off a little bit easy. I've seen some people complain about being really bad. I think that's just a quality control issue because it's not too terrible on mine. Getting it on can actually be kind of hard, but once it's on, unless, like, I've noticed that some of the ratchets on this are stronger than others. If you take it onto a strong ratchet, it might twist it off. But otherwise, I have not had problems where just tapping on it down here causes the back legs to come off. But I have seen videos where that is a problem for some people, so it's not like it's not a problem. It's just not too big of a problem on mine. One thing it can do in this mode is if you put a missile in its mouth, you can take the Red Ranger Wild Force figure key here, pop it into here, and it will launch the missile. It launches pretty far, and unlike the, again, the Delta Runner Zord here, where it was a pressure missile where it popped out, this time it's not a pressure missile, it's a spring-loaded missile, which is interesting because it's the exact same missile mold. So that's kind of interesting how they did that. And one thing that's kind of disturbing about this is that it kind of looks like the Ranger's riding it, but he's in a very strange pose, where normally the Ranger keys are, they look enough like keys to be fine. When it's kind of riding something like this, it does look a little bit strange. Now, anyway, that's all it does in this mode. It does have another mode where if you pop this off, and pop this off, you can get into kind of like a battle mode. And what you do is you take this, and you plug it into the top of the head like this. Yeah. And then there's this little spring-load bit right here. You can press this into that, and I think that's neat how they did that, because they could have just left a hole in here, but no, they actually made it so there's a spring-loaded thing that will fill in the gap that would otherwise be left by this part coming in here. And then you can take this and put it in his mouth. And I'm not entirely sure what the point of this is. Almost looks like he's evil or something because you can't see his eyes from the front. You can see him from the side just fine, but from the front, he looks like he's a bit too aggressive maybe to be a good guy. I'm not sure entirely what this mode is supposed to be, but it's there if you want it. And then that's about it that it does in this mode. Now, it does combine with Legendary Megazord in several ways. Let me put the this stuff back on him. It combines with the Legendary Megazord in several ways. The first way is sort of like a Centaur. So what you do is you take the Legendary Megazord, tear off his bottom feet, and these are never seen again when you're using this guy, which is kind of unfortunate because there's nothing that you can really do with these guys. I mean, I suppose you could put them onto the Zord builder ports up here, but that would just be silly. So put the arms and legs off to the side, never be seen again. And then what you do is and this is kind of hard to do because these Zord builder ports right here are at an angle, but you just gotta get one end and squeeze in the other one like this, and now you have kind of a Centaur-like thing here. And again, I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be. It kind of works, but I wasn't even really a fan of this when they did this in GokaiOh and Gokaiger, so I'm not a big fan of this, but it's there if you like it. Anyway, the next thing that you can do is, well, yes, that is a step. You pop this off the back, pop the legs off, take this, turn it on its side like this, so the crest is at the top, Then come over to the Legendary Megazord, pull off his helmet, put it onto the, oops, backwards, put it onto the blue jet right here, open this up, pull these ports down, put this helmet on, and actually no, I should not have started assembling this yet, because actually I have some more stuff to deassemble here, but oh well. Pop this off, pop these off, and this is very hard to do, again, because the reason it's hard to do is because these are plugged in at an angle here, but it's hard to get a good grip on it so you can pull it off at an angle, but you pull the legs off of this side of this guy, and they're attached by Zord builder ports, and then you pull these off, and now we can start assembly proper. Now we'll take these legs and we'll pop them down, the same as in the Centaur mode, but this time they don't have this head in between them. Then, oops. Yeah, this guy does have a little bit of a balance problem. The head here helps quite a bit because he puts the weight forward, but he does fall back quite easily before then. Then you take these legs right here, and you will attach them to his arms like this. And then you can just leave it at this, but if you open this up, you can attach this here. And one of the neat features about putting the lion head in here like this is you can take a missile, put it in here, and if you take a ranger key, put it in here, and turn it, the missile fires. And I love how they made that firing missile gimmick cross between this part right here and into the Legendary Megazord. Because what happens is, when you put a ranger key in here, it'll push down, and then a little button will come out in here. And the same thing happens with the Legendary Megazord. If you pop this out, if you pop a ranger key into it, what'll happen is a little button will push forward in there. So I love how that ability crosses between the different modes. It's I just love how they're integrating these ranger keys into toys. It's very neat what they're doing. And now this is the, I'm not sure what this mode's called, but the basically Legendary Samurai Megazord. But then it goes a step further, because if you take this piece right here, you can combine it with its swords, like this, and get something like a Naginata, I think. And what's interesting about this thing is you can either slot it into this hand here, or you can pop it apart like this, and then slide it into this hand right here like this. And then put this onto the back, like so. Then that's a pretty neat looking weapon. Then you got this left over, which is a giant sword. So you can put this in. And now with all this weight on the front, he can fall back, but he's not going to fall back on his own. He's actually has some danger of falling forward a little bit now. But anyway, this thing is really cool looking. If there's any problem I have with this, it's that because throwing away the legs here, throws away one Zord builder port on the side, and then because you have to store the original pirate hat somewhere, which blocks off this Zord builder port. He doesn't play very well with the other sets, and there's not really an easy way to really add on to the figure more than this. And that's one of the big problems with the set right here. It doesn't play well with the other sets. And in fact, it doesn't play well with the Legendary Megazord either, because it gets rid of this. It's great what it does here. I love how this looks, but it's not as great as I would have liked it. Now granted, with GokaiOh it was kind of the same, except with GokaiOh, I believe it didn't hinder the arm articulation very much. Whereas here, you're lucky to be able to get the arm to go forward one click without either popping this off, or popping this off, or even popping off the entire arm. So he is a bit more static than I would like, but it is a very nice set. I kind of think that the line by itself looks a little bit better, if nothing else. You have one pretty big Zord off to the side, and then a Megazord off to the side. Whereas here, you just have a Megazord right here, which it looks great, but it's missing components, and it doesn't combine as well with the other stuff. I'm kind of repeating myself here. It is good. It has a lot of great points, but it's just not as good as I feel it could have been. And part of the problem goes back to Gokaiger, so it's not entirely Bandai of America's fault. Bandai of America did basically a good job with this. So if you're really into the Super Megaforce toy line, then I would definitely recommend getting this just so that you can play with this mode every once in a while, because this is nice. It is big, it's beefy, I do love how this changes the overall look of the Legendary Megazord, taking it from a pirate theme to a really strong samurai theme. It is well executed in that regard. So anyway, this has been a video review of the Red Lion Zord. I review Power Rangers, Transformers, Macross figures, Digimon figures, lots of stuff like that. If any of that sounds interesting, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.